Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling a really vital topic, I think, for all of us as we navigate the years. Men's health and aging.
Yeah, it's a big one. And we've got, well, a pretty interesting mix of insights for you today.
We do. On one hand, we've looked at these wise old age videos.
Yeah.
They really focus on the fundamentals, diet, lifestyle, just overall vitality.
Right, kind of the holistic view. And then on the other side, we've got some really specific guidance from urologists.
Yeah, from channels like Dr. Lise Donovan and Men's Health. They're zeroing right in on, well, intimate health.
So our mission here really is to pull out the practical stuff, the actionable things.
Exactly. Steps you can actually take to, maintain your health, keep your energy up, feel confident as you get older.
Cutting through maybe some of the noise and just highlighting what these experts suggest really matters.
Okay, so let's kick things off. Let's dig into that first part, fueling vitality from the inside.
Sounds good.
The wise old age angle seemed to put a massive emphasis on nutrition, right? Not just like disease prevention, but actively boosting energy and health.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is how they suggest its importance almost increases with age. It's maybe even more critical.
Right.
It's about being strategic, choosing foods that support, heart health, good circulation, which obviously ties into energy.
And they highlighted some specific foods. Let's talk about pure cocoa first. I think of it as a treat, mostly.
Usually.
But apparently it's loaded with these flavonoids, good for blood vessels, helps them relax, improves circulation.
Yeah, that's the science bit. These flavonoids are antioxidants, and they support what's called endothelial function.
Endothelial function.
It's basically the health of the lining inside your blood vessels. If that's healthy, blood flows smoothly, you get oxygen, nutrients delivered efficiently.
Which leads to feeling more alive, like that anecdote about the 80-year-old friend who swore by it.
Exactly. It makes sense physiologically.
Okay, then watermelon. Classic summer refreshment.
Right.
But it has citrulline, and our bodies turn that into arginine, which also helps relax blood vessels, boost flow.
Citrulline is a key player in the nitric oxide pathway.
Ah, nitric oxide. We hear about that a lot.
Yeah, it's like a natural signal telling your blood vessels, okay, widen up, relax. Better dilation means better blood flow, more energy.
So that guy calling it a mystical fruit wasn't totally off base.
Probably not. He was onto something, maybe intuitively.
Okay, what about nuts? Walnuts, almonds. My grandmother, seriously, a handful of almonds every single day.
A wise woman.
These sources point to the omega-3s, right? Good for the heart, arteries, helps reduce inflammation.
Definitely. And those omega-3s, they're just fundamental for cardiovascular health, which again, ties everything together.
How so?
Well, intimate vitality isn't like separate from the rest of your body. It's deeply connected to overall physical health. So supporting your heart, lowering inflammation, it benefits the whole system.
Makes sense. Okay, garlic. Beyond, keeping vampires away.
Yeah.
Apparently, it has compounds that might actually boost that nitric oxide production again. Good for blood vessel health, blood pressure too.
Yeah, there's research on its sulfur compounds and how they impact nitric oxide. That story about the father eating a raw clove daily, maybe a bit extreme for some.
Yeah, probably. But I guess you can cook with it.
Of course. Lots of ways to get it in. The principle is the potential benefit for circulation.
And finally, vitamin C, kiwis, oranges, the usual suspects.
Right.
Not just for colds, it seems. Essential for collagen, which keeps blood vessels strong and flexible, and it fights oxidative stress.
It really does. Vitamin C is crucial for the structure of our entire vascular system. And yeah, as an antioxidant, it helps protect cells from damage, which becomes more important as we age. My mother's daily OJ habit seems pretty smart now.
Mine too. Okay, and one more thing from the wise old age stuff.
Yeah.
Hydration. Just drinking enough water.
So fundamental, yet easily overlooked.
They mentioned our sense of thirst can actually fade a bit as we get older.
It can, yeah. But the body's need for water doesn't decrease. Dehydration can really hit your energy levels, your circulation.
So making a conscious effort to drink up, even if you don't feel thirsty.
Exactly. It's basic but critical self-care.
And I liked how these sources tied it all together, linking overall health to intimate vitality. Stressing that it's about a consistent, healthy lifestyle, not some quick fix or magic bullet.
Yeah, no magic pills here. It's about building that solid foundation for well-being.
And they framed aging as like a chance to refine how we take care of ourselves.
Which is a great perspective. It's not decline, it's adaptation and refinement. And that foundation supports everything. including intimate health.
Okay, perfect transition. Let's shift gears now to the more specific advice from the urologists, Dr. Elise Donovan, Men's Health Channel stuff, on penile health specifically.
Right. And they really stress that this isn't some side issue. It's integral to a man's overall health confidence.
Yeah, a big part of well-being.
And they advocate a proactive approach, not just fixing problems, but prevention, maintaining function.
So what were their key points?
Yeah.
One was about staying active.
Regular erections.
Yeah.
Whether through intimacy, self-stimulation, even medical tools if needed.
Why is that so important?
Blood flow. Again, it maintains blood flow to the tissues, helps prevent atrophy, that's tissue weakening, and lowers the risk of ED.
They mentioned studies backing this up.
Yes, it's well documented. Disuse can actually weaken the tissue, potentially contributing to things like Peyronie's disease. It's sort of a use it or lose it situation for tissue health.
Right. And they mentioned pelvic physiotherapy sometimes?
Yeah, as a potential tool if needed. Consulting a doctor is key there.
Okay, second point. Seems obvious, but maybe isn't always prioritized. Hygiene?
Absolutely non-negotiable, according to them. Proper cleaning, mild soap, thorough drying, preventing buildup.
Why is that so critical? Beyond just basic cleanliness.
Preventing infections, irritation, and they even mentioned more serious things like penile cancer risk being linked to poor hygiene in some data.
Oh.
And specifically washing after intercourse. There's a pH difference, vaginal versus penile environment, plus STI risk reduction. Simple preventative care.
Got it. Then it talked about being mindful during sex, especially if the erection isn't fully firm.
Yeah, this was interesting. A semi-erect penis is apparently more vulnerable to tiny injuries, microtraumas.
Microtraumas. From what?
From, say, forceful intercourse or awkward angles when things aren't fully rigid. Over time, these tiny injuries can add up, potentially leading to scar tissue, nodules.
Which is related to the Peyronie's disease, right? The curvature.
Exactly. That scar tissue is the problem. So the advice is avoid forcing things when not fully erect and, communicate with your partner.
And if ED is the underlying issue, see a urologist for solution.
Precisely. Don't just push through in a way that might cause injury.
Okay. They also touched on pornography. Moderation seemed to be the key message.
Yes. The concern raised was about potential desensitization from excessive use, making real-life intimacy feel less stimulating, perhaps.
And impacting expectations, maybe.
Potentially, yeah. Affecting responses in real-world encounters if someone's overly accustomed to, the often unrealistic or hyperstimulating content online, the focus should be on meaningful connection.
Right. And then, maybe unsurprisingly, lifestyle came up again. Big time.
Huge cornerstone. Smoking, too much alcohol, poor diet, chronic stress, all linked to problems like ED and Peyronie's.
So the same things that benefit general health, balanced diet, exercise, hydration, managing stress, they directly benefit penile health too.
Absolutely. It brings it all back together. You can't really separate these things. Good overall health supports good intimate health.
And there was that bonus tip about sleep habits.
Yeah, the underwear thing.
Sleeping without tight underwear or maybe just loose boxers, why?
The idea is to avoid any restriction or potential minor trauma during nocturnal erections.
Which are normal, right?
Totally normal and important for tissue health. So the thinking is minimizing any external pressure or friction during those times might, over the long haul, reduce the risk of fibrosis, scar tissue, and Peyronie's.
Interesting. A small detail, but makes sense.
It's a more subtle point, but the logic follows.
So when we pull these two threads together, the wise old age focus on circulation through diet, and the urology advice on maintaining blood flow down there.
It's the same fundamental principle, isn't it? A healthy vascular system is key. Everywhere.
Yeah, and all those general healthy habits, diet, exercise, stress management, they benefit both overall energy and specific functions like erections.
Exactly. It's a holistic win-win.
Yeah.
Taking care of the whole system pays off in specific areas, too.
The urologists also really pushed for self-awareness. Regular self-exams.
Yeah, like monthly checks. Just getting familiar with your own body, noticing any changes early, lumps, bumps, curvature.
Because early detection is always better.
Always. It allows for quicker intervention, usually better outcomes. It's about being proactive, taking ownership.
So really the big picture here is that aging isn't just about managing decline, it's an evolution.
Right. And integrating these kinds of practices helps support a long, happy, fulfilling life in all aspects.
It's about embracing it with knowledge and self-care.
Definitely. And a willingness to adapt and prioritize your well-being.
Okay, so just to recap the key takeaways. From the wise old age side, the huge power of nutrition for vitality and circulation, things like cocoa, watermelon, nuts, garlic, vitamin C, hydration.
Building that foundation. And from the urologists, those 5 essential steps for prioritizing penile health: staying active, thorough hygiene, being mindful during intimacy, moderating porn use, and living that healthy lifestyle overall.
Plus that interesting sleepwear tip.
Can't forget that one.
So maybe a final thought for you listening. Just consider how incorporating maybe just 1 or 2 of these habits, they might seem small, could actually compound over time.
Yeah, leading to really significant long-term benefits for your health, your energy, your confidence. So the question is, what's one small change you might feel inspired to explore first?
That's a great question to ponder. And as always, keep exploring these topics, look into the resources, but definitely talk to your own healthcare professionals for advice that's tailored just for you.
Absolutely. Personalized advice is crucial.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.